If HR wants to gain credibility as a trusted partner, we have to move away from mandating single ways of doing things and start offering choices, genuine, meaningful choices that allow managers to deliver core people practices in ways that work for them, their teams, and their business areas. Instead of feeling like they have to comply with some universally prescribed process or policy that doesn't feel like it meets their needs, we can invite managers to choose the approach that works for them. Managers and leaders value support that feels relevant, not abstract. They want tools that help them deliver better results, not hurdles that make their job harder. When we offer them choices, when we say, here are different ways you can approach this depending on your context, we build trust and credibility because we're recognising their level of expertise, their judgment and their knowledge of their own people. Providing options rather than mandates positions HR not as the controller of how people should be managed, but as an enabler of better outcomes. There is strong evidence from psychology and behavioural science that shows that when people are offered choices, they are more likely to accept, engage with and commit to what's being asked of them. You know, even a limited amount of choice, like would you like option A or B, can have a significant effect on motivation and ownership. Offering choice builds trust, autonomy and investment, all critical drivers of behavioural change and engagement. Now you might be thinking, that all sounds great, Lucy, but I have hardly got enough time to create one option, let alone providing a range of individual solutions. And I do hear you. It can be tricky meeting the needs of individual managers without importing a load of complexity, cost and effort, which we can ill afford. But fortunately, that's where using the persona technique can help. Marketing teams have used consumer persona for a long time. You know, marketing, they are a limited number of fictional, typical customers or potential customers based on their social demography, lifestyle, wants, needs, buying preferences, and potential use of your product or service. Leadership persona are fictional characters that relate to a very small number of typical leaders based on their attitudes, motivations and behaviours. It's worth spending just a little bit of time with your colleagues talking through the typical leaders you work with. You know, often HR teams will find that you can group them into 2 or 3 persona and you can use these to help craft a limited range of options and choices. That's exactly what the Sky HR team did when thinking about how to influence leaders to get involved in their own learning and development. You know, they found that they needed to appeal to 2 different types of leader. There was the type that responded well to staying ahead of their peers or positioning themselves for promotion. So with this group, they used language like don't fall behind or make sure you get ahead to appeal to them. The second type was put off training if it meant time away from focusing on the operational side of their job. So for this group, they focused on the promotion of micro-learning opportunities, you know, with straplines like, this will only take you 5 minutes. So, what does offering choice look like in practice? Well, offering choice doesn't mean letting go of standards or allowing chaos to reign. It does mean setting out the big principles, what good looks like, what outcomes we're trying to achieve, and then allowing managers to apply these principles in the way that makes most sense for them, their teams, and their business units. Let me give you a couple of examples where leading HR teams are making this shift happen. First one is performance management. You know, here we can offer different rhythms rather than insisting that every manager holds a formal annual review meeting at a fixed time of year. We can provide a flexible set of options for managers to create regular, high quality conversations about performance and development. The principle remains the same: frequent, future-focused conversations that help people perform at their best. But how this happens is up to them and their team. At Adobe, when the formal appraisal process, the annual process, was scrapped, managers were encouraged to create their own methods for giving feedback and setting goals. The shift wasn't about removing performance management, it was about giving managers ownership over how to deliver it. Let's look at another example, employee engagement. Now here, we can give managers the tools to do it their way. If we want managers to be thinking about how engaged their people are, to be measuring and using the resulting insights to make changes, then we need to give them the tools to do it for themselves at a time that suits them, and then let them get on with it. You know, no more waiting for the centralised survey, but empowering and enabling managers to get real-time insights about their team instead. H&H Group implemented Culture Amps engagement tools, giving managers direct access to data and tools to customise pulse surveys for their teams. By giving leaders direct access to Culture Amp, the HR team has seen a significant lift in managers' own development, accountability, and willingness to take action. In shifting from mandates to meaningful choices, HR transforms its role from enforcer to enabler, building trust, encouraging ownership, and driving real behavioural change. By offering tailored options rooted in understanding, not uniformity, we show leaders that we're not just setting the rules, we're walking alongside them to help them make better people decisions.